Hello and welcome to highlights from Season 8 of Visma Ski Classics, the long-distance cross-country ski championship. This year's calendar treated the fans to 11 different classic technique ski marathon events, held in 7 different countries across Central and Northern Europe. Over the next hour, sit back and enjoy the highs and the lows, the ups and the downs, the winners and the losers, all wrapped up in majestic mountain scenery. Ashley Yedalin of Team Santander and Britta Johansson Norgren of the Lager 157 ski team were both back for Season 8, the favourites to defend their Hertz overall yellow champion bib titles. But there seemed plenty of other contenders to take their crowns. After winning the green sprint competition for the past 2 seasons, Yedalin's teammate Andreas Niergaard looked set to challenge for the overall title this time. Other rivals included Team BM Bank's Morten Eder Pedersen, as well as the highly talented Ilya Chernusov, who'd signed up for the Bauer ski team. In the women's overall category, Johansson Norgren's longtime rival and former yellow bib winner Katarina Smutner had left Team Santander to also join up with the Bauer ski team, while both Astrid Ure-Slind of Team Koteng and Lina Korsgren of the Aura Ski Club seemed to have the potential on paper to contend for race victories and the overall title. In the pro team competition, 3-time defending champions Norway's Team Santander faced big challenges. Top Swedish outfit, the Lager 157 ski team, former champions Team Koteng, and ski legend Lukas Bauer's fast-developing Bauer ski team. Once again, there were green sprint bib competitions for both the men and the women, and the creation of a brand new competition for Season 8, the Climb Bib. Points were awarded to athletes at marked climb passes at events during the season. The long road to Visma Ski Classics glory once again started in Switzerland and the small village of Pontresina with a team time trial or pro team tempo. This gave the record 28 registered pro teams the chance to present their new athletes and their race suits to the global television audience. With the sun shining and the conditions perfect for a 12-kilometre high-tempo race, the elite men started first, skiing together as a team in an interval start format. The time was taken from the third best skier, forcing the pro teams to come up with the best possible tactics. In an early example of the many surprises to come in Visma Ski Classics Season 8, new Austrian outfit Team Parkett Partner performed strongly and led the prologue until the best pro teams from the previous season had finished their races. In the end, Lager 157 ski team's men were the strongest, and they were able to give a 21-second advantage to their female skier, Johansson Norgren. Team Koteng, formerly known as Team United Bakeries, had a good day on the tracks, and their male team combined well together to secure second spot going into the women's pursuit. The day's surprise package Team Parkett Partner ended the men's time trial in a highly creditable 3rd position. The women started their pursuit after the men's race, and with the head start, Johansson Norgren did not give Ure-Slind in 2nd place a chance to catch up. On the contrary, she was able to gain some further distance, making this a perfect start for her team. Team Santander's Kari Vikagen-Jaitnes snatched the last podium place in a sprint finish for 3rd. The following weekend saw the skiers make the short trip over the Swiss border to another familiar setting, the beautiful valley of Livigno in northern Italy for La Scambeda, a 35-kilometre ski race known for its high-altitude test to the elite skiers. In another early taste of the excellent winter to come in Central Europe, natural snow conditions were superb for the race, a real contrast to the weather problems in the region over the previous few years. La Scambeda included the first point stage in both the men's and women's green sprint bib competitions. Johansen Norgren dominantly took maximum points in Livigno. While in the men's class, her teammate Anton Carlsen began his bid to win the green bib with maximum sprint points. The brand new climb competition also got underway. The first point stage decided at the race's high point, Grassi degli Agnelli, some 2,100 metres above sea level.
And a steep hill, and this is the one you can see it's kind of like spiraling up all the way to this point. Here we go.
Yeah, coming through here, of course, the new competition, the lumberjack bib, the climb competition. And who's going to get the points here? It looks like it's going to be Britta Johansen Norgren again for the Lager 157 ski team. The animals here, the horses, just taking a moment there.
That's one of the the shots that we should remember. That was a nice moment. One of those golden moments to be remembered by. Look at that. Beautiful, nice.
Yeah, it's part of what Visma Ski Classics is all about, really. I mean, these horse-drawn sleds here alongside the elite skiers. We talk about the amateurs as well who come through, because this is all part of the colour, the mixture of different elements that goes into a Visma Ski Classics stage, and Livigno here, Scambeda, is no different.
Of course, Team Santan is really happy to see Kari, up there. Vikhagen Yaitnes, she's really strong. I mean, she showed a really good capacity in last weekend's race, by winning the sprint.
The battles for the race victories in Livigno were even tighter though, as first the women's race reached a thrilling climax.
Norgren here looks to be making the push. 350 metres to go here.
Really strong.
She's looking really strong with the turn of speed here. Britta Johansen Norgren, winner of Scambeda last year, of course, holder of the Hertz yellow champion bib, winner of both the green sprint checkpoints and the climb, the inaugural climb checkpoint. Britta Johansen Norgren looks so strong. She's not going to be denied here, the Swede. Smutner struggling to stay with her. She can't quite do it. It is a similarity from 12 months ago. It is Britta Johansen Norgren who wins for the second year in a row.
And it was a similar story with the men's race, as a whole host of contenders approached the tunnel and the final stretch.
Like it was negotiated pretty well here. We're into the final 150, 200 metres. Well, you can't name them all. There's so many. There's Yedalin and Neergaard there as well. And there's Torge Tirgerson as well of the Team Oslo Sportlager team, who's right in the mix as well for the podium. Is he going to take the race? No, it's Andreas Neergaard looking strong here. And Andreas Neergaard is winning Scambeda for 2017.
Neergaard, the winner in Livigno then, an early statement of his intent to try and win the Hertz Yellow Champion bib for Season 8. After the Christmas and New Year break, Visma Ski Classics came back with a bang in mid-January for the Kaiser Maximilianlauf. The 60-kilometre Seefeld course in Austria is considered one of the toughest in the calendar, and the start-finish area was moved this year to a new location that will also be used for the 2019 World Cross Country Ski Championships to be held there. Seefeld served as the opening race in another new competition, the Visma Alp Trophy, made up of points scored across 4 consecutive Central European races. In the women's race, Johansen Norgren and Masako Ishida broke away right after the starter's gun and skied tightly together almost to the end. Norgren opened a gap in the Leutasch Valley, while Ishida got caught by the chasing group of 3, Sara Limborg of Team Cernica, along with Vikhagen Yaitnes and Korsgren. After leaving the valley, Ishida did manage to catch Johansen Norgren again in the long climbs due to her diagonal striding technique, but the Swede then pulled away again in the last downhill to go on and take the victory. That last section of the race also proved to be crucial for Limburg, as she was able to pass Ishida in the final few kilometres. In the men's race, an impressive breakaway happened once the lead group reached the Leutasch Valley. Vinja Skogsholm, Team Parkett partner, and Andreas Humberg from Team Cernica decided to attack the rest of the field, and they got away from the pack. Their lead extended quickly, and by the time they reached the first climb after the valley, the chasing group was about 90 seconds behind them. Hornberry realised that a great opportunity to win the race was apparent, and he attacked again. Skogsholm couldn't keep up with the impressive pace set by the Swede. Only Gjerdalen and Chernisov were strong enough to keep the chase up on Hornberry as they caught him with just 3 kilometres left before the finish in Seefeld. The Swede won the Visma Skier of the Day award for his breakaway efforts, but he couldn't keep pace with Gjerdalen, who romped to victory.
Yeah, I saw him and Shanuso chasing behind, so I knew almost the day should come. So I'm happy that only Gjerdalen catch me.
I think they got too much and too big lead. I didn't like that, but I had two good teammates doing a job before the hill. So when I attacked in the hill, Shanuso came up. We were two chasing. That was really cool.
The following weekend, Visma Ski Classics returned to Switzerland, this time for La Diagonella, a 65-kilometre trek through the glorious Engadine St. Valley. Once again, the weather and snow conditions were superb, right the way to the finish line in the picturesque village of Zuos. A large group of skiers stayed together for the first 20 kilometres until the women hit the first tough climb towards the legendary St. Moritz. At this stage, Limbori of Team Cernica and second in the Kaiser Maximilian Lauf were struggling, while Johansson Norgren and Smutner broke away from the rest of the pack. Korsgren was able to follow a bit behind, and she caught up with the two after an intense chase. These 3 skiers got some help from a couple of male skiers, while Limborg, skiing alone, regained her strength and tried to catch up with the 3 of them. She got quite close, but the final 10 kilometres proved to be too much for her. Norgren pushed really hard in the final hills and got a good gap, while Korsgren let Smutner do all the work and sprinted in the end to take second place. Norgren then still undefeated in Season 8 and already well out in front in all of the different major categories. In the men's race, about 50 skiers were intact all the way to the long climb up towards St. Moritz. The Visma skier of the day, Morteneda Pedersen, aggressively attacked a few times, splitting up the lead group. After St. Moritz, there were 13 skiers in the lead group, all the way down to the final 12 or 13 kilometres. Pedersen attacked again, and very soon, only 3 skiers were able to follow: Chernisov, Gjerdalen, and Anders Outland. Gjerdalen timed his attack beautifully about 500 metres before the finish to make it back-to-back victories, tightening his grip on the Hertz yellow bib and also taking charge of the Visma Alp Trophy competition. In the green sprint bib, the tussle remained tight between Oscar Cardin of Team Santander, who split the big points in La Diagonella, with Anton Carlsen and Emil Vokuev of the Russian marathon team. But Johansson Norgren cleaned up again in the women's sprint, taking all the available points on offer in Switzerland. The end of January only means one thing in Visma Ski Classics: the 70-kilometre Marcia Longa, or Long March, held in the Fassa and Fiemme valleys of Trentino, Italy. It truly is one of the most prestigious races in the sport. This year's men's race proceeded without any major incidents, with about 50 skiers in the lead group past the halfway stage. The beginning of the race was a bit slower paced than in previous years, but after Canazei, the lead group had increased the pace. There was still more than 20 skiers left at the start of the legendary Cascata climb up to the finish in Cavallese. A group of 4 skiers broke away right at the beginning of the climb, led by the winner of the past 3 years, Jedalen, together with Pedersen, Chernisov and also Tora Bjorset Berdal of Team Koteng. Jedalen tried to attack a couple of times, but Pedersen stayed out in front. Then, just before the finish line, Berdal sprinted clear and Chernisov followed right behind him. In the end, the Russian skier was just about faster and won a thrilling race for the first time. He was also the winner of the climb competition stage here, which was determined by the individual times taken to climb the famous Cascata.
Yeah, I knew that it's the last 2 kilometers uphill, so I did try to keep all my energy, but it was quite tough in the middle part for me. The speed was always like somebody make some sprint and track quite narrow. So, but it was not easy, and the last hill was, I think I did a good tactical.
Yes! Smile, Morten!
Morten machine.
In the women's race, the old rivals Johansson, Norgren and Smutner broke away after the Canazei checkpoint and skied together for the rest of the race. Their tight fight went all the way to the final Cascata climb, and they approached the finish line neck and neck, as in previous years. But it was the Swede who remained the undisputed champion of Season 8, taking her 4th consecutive individual stage win. Korsgren managed to be the fastest time skier in the last uphill, and so took home the winning points in the climb competition, Norgren's first loss of any kind in the season.
I think so. I was really close today, and I was so tired, and I was many thoughts in my head that I couldn't do it, but I think a little bit gap, and one was 100 meters left, and that's just go for it.
The Visma Ski Classic stars were back in action on Italian snow the following weekend, this time in the southern Tyrol, as Toblach Cortina took centre stage on the first weekend of February. For the first time since joining the tour, the full 50-kilometre course was in operation, with the start area around the military airport in Toblach and the finish in the centre of the former Olympic venue, Cortina d'Ampezzo. This race was also the last stage to count towards the Visma Alp Trophy competition. Fresh snowfall on the course during the event made both races into quite tactical, cagey affairs. The group of elite women started 30 minutes before the men, and after the first sprint in the Nordic Arena in Toblach at the 14.5-kilometre point, 6 skiers broke away from the rest. They stayed together until about 4 kilometres before reaching Cortina d'Ampezzo, when both Johansson, Norgren and Smutner increased the pace and approached the finish line together. The Swede was once again faster and claimed a record-equalling 5th consecutive Visma Ski Classic stage win. Norgren also wrapped up victory in the Visma Alp Trophy competition. In the men's race, there were occasional breakaway attempts, but nothing serious came from them. Chernusov and his Russian compatriot Sergei Ustyakov were both right in the mix for victory for large parts of the race. As expected, there was a mass sprint finish in the end, where Gjerdalen proved to be the fastest man, just ahead of Chernusov. But the Marcialonga winner was then disqualified from second place for an obstruction offence, meaning Niergaard and Ustyakov moved up onto the podium in second and third spot respectively. Gjerdalen's victory in Cortina also meant he sealed overall triumph in the Visma Out Trophy competition. After 2 Italian races in a row and a fortnight's rest, Visma Ski Classics moved on to the tiny village of Bedřichov in the northern Czech Republic for the Jezerska Padesátka, a 50-kilometre race that's also 50 years old and serves as a memorial for the ill-fated Peru expedition, which claimed the lives of 15 Czech climbers back in 1970. Johansson, Norgren and Smutner, skiing on home snow, quickly took advantage of the women's race on the first hill. The two rivals continued skiing together until the long uphill at the 30-kilometre point, when Norgren made her move and escaped, going on to win the Jezerska easily for a second time and claim an unprecedented 6th straight Visma Ski Classics stage victory.
Yeah, it felt really good today, and I wasn't really expect that, and I had so fantastic skis. So when the guys come and I could follow the Santander train for a little bit, and I think I had better skis than everyone today. So it's I get some confidence from the skis, and that helped me.
Czech Jezerska Padesátka 2018.
The men had a different race though, as there were 15 skiers in the lead group until the halfway point. Last year's winner Pedersen had clear tactics in mind. He wanted to push hard in the same hill, where Johansson Norgren had made her decisive move to win the women's race. 3 Team Santander skiers, Kardin, Niergaard and Gjerdalen, tried to follow him, but without any success. Pedersen was just too strong on this occasion.
He can take as long as he wants here. So easy through to the finish. Morten Eder Pedersen of Team BN Bank moving through now. Yeah, he can salute the crowd. It's a crushing victory for Morten Eder Pedersen. He wins the Jezerska Padesátka for the 3rd time in 4 years. Amazing effort from Morten Eder Pedersen. Loves this Jezerska course. It's a 3rd.
And when I was together with 3 Santander boys, I just would need to push hard to get rid of hopefully 1 or 2 of them. But all 3 was away, and then it was just to push as hard as I could, because they are 3 strong guys, and in the easier part after the uphill, it's
Yeah! That was good for you guys.
Yeah, I'm really happy to be on the podium this time, so it was really fun, and great team performance by us, so we're really happy.
Johansson Norgren was fastest in the climb and sprint competitions at the Jezerska, as well as Pedersen taking home the climb points. Kardin, the firm leader in the men's pink youth bib competition for skiers aged 26 years and under, was also the fastest man in the green sprint stage here, but it was Carlsen who held on to the green jersey overall after the Jezerska. Another 2 weeks break followed before the latest edition in the jewel in the crown of the Visma Ski Classics calendar, the world-famous Vasaloppet. The 90-kilometre classic technique trek between the villages of Sälen and Mora in the Dalarna region of Sweden on the first Sunday in March is the stuff of Swedish folklore and holds a firm place in the hearts of long-distance cross-country ski enthusiasts worldwide. It is always the biggest goal for the sport's elite stars, and this year, the 94th edition of the race was no different. The race also was the first in the Visma Nordic Trophy competition, which is made up of points scored from the last 4 events of the season. A whole host of favourites lined up on the start line in Sälen, and over 15,000 amateur skiers, as always, skied exactly the same race as them.
This picture is so impressive to watch. All the skiers, having this amazing experience. I think I saw my brother-in-law there.
Give him a name check. In the first uphill, about 3 kilometres into the race, a couple of lesser-known names, the Bauer ski team athlete Jan Schrail and Team Linski's Joa Andreas Tila, broke away from the rest of the group. They continued their journey working together until about 60 kilometres into the race, when Schrail lost touch with Tila, who continued on alone, out in front. But at more or less 70 kilometres into the race, the chasing group finally caught up with Tella. The Norwegian's performance didn't get him a podium place, but he did earn the Visma Skier of the Day award in recognition of his attacking skiing and the entertainment value it provided earlier in the race. It didn't take long until the next strong breakaway took place. Team Koteng skier Tore Bjørset Berdal put in an extra gear, creating a gap of close to 50 seconds at one point. He looked good for the win. It looked like it would be the winning effort, but he was caught with only 4 kilometres left to the finish in Mora, lacking the energy to stay clear of all those hungry chasers. A large group of skiers approached the finish line together. Despite the strong efforts of Bob Impeler, Stian Ødegaard and others, Andreas Niergaard placed himself in a perfect position to sprint clear up the final stretch in Mora and take the coveted Vasaloppet victory for the very first time.
First of all, I'm really happy and grateful for the opportunity to stand here with this flower around my neck. So, just a fantastic day where everything went as you can dream of. So, incredible happy.
Förrän det var 100 meter kvar. Då steg han fram i ett eget spår. Vi vet om att han är en spurtkanon.
Ja, fin jävel.
This side. This side.
On the women's side, the race turned out to be something of the unexpected, as last year's Vasaloppet winner and Hertz yellow bib holder Johansson Norgren didn't take command from the start as expected. For a while it seemed to be her strategy this time to save energy for a sprint finish. But when her opponents started to pull away, Johansson Norgren didn't manage to hang on. She tasted her first event defeat of Season 8, her record run of 6 straight Visma Ski Classic stage victories coming to an end here. Astrid Oreslind of Team Koteng showed her return to form from a shoulder injury earlier in the season. She used grip wax to her advantage in the slow conditions. The Norwegian led the race until just 8 kilometres remained, when Katarina Smutner and Lena Korsgren caught her up by working together to cut the gap. Orislind and not even Smutner could match Korsgren, who put in an extra burst of speed to move away and later seal the sweetest of triumphs in Mora.
It's just a matter of moments away from an absolute career highlight. It's been her goal.
Yeah, and she spots the Kranskula boy having time to cheer to the audience and getting the symbol.
She was fifth here last year. She's been on the podium before, but she crosses the line. Lina Korsgren wins the Vasaloppet for the first time. An amazing performance from the Swede, the Åre Ski Club athlete, and she can't quite believe it.
Yeah, it's I can't believe it. I'm so grateful, and I'm proud of myself that I believe on this goal the whole season, and the last week have been really mental.
In the middle of March, Visma Ski Classics returned again in Norway for another race steeped in history, the 54-kilometre Birkebeiner from Reyna to Lillehammer. A sunny but extremely cold morning with temperatures dipping into the mid-minus 20 degrees Celsius greeted the skiers when they started their 54-kilometre pursuit. Due to the cold conditions, there were many diagonal striders both in the men's and women's races. In the women's race, Justina Kowalczyk of Team Trentino Robinson Trainer broke away in the first long climb towards the mountains and remained in the lead all the way to the finish. Behind her, Smutner of the Bauer ski team and Slint of Team Koteng worked in tandem throughout the course. The former proved to be the stronger in the end and crossed the finish line about 50 seconds ahead of her opponents. The Hertz Yellow Champion bib holder Johansson Norgren struggled but managed to get important points by finishing in 4th position. All three of the women's podium used kick-wax in this race.
Up to the Sushen was a little bit difficult, and then here to the finish to be alone. But I like this first 20 kilometers. This was good for me to be alone and skiing my technique, my tactic and everything.
Here it comes. It is there. It's the 80th anniversary edition of the Birkebeiner, the first of back-to-back Norwegian races in Visma Ski Classics. Season 8, the Reistadloppet, of course, to come in a couple of weeks' time. But this, in many ways, the key Norwegian contribution to the calendar. 54-kilometre trek from Reyna, where they are just beginning here. This small town in eastern Norway, right the way through to Lillehammer, where we are. In the men's event, the Russian marathon team skier Emil Vokowev managed to make a gap before the final long climb in the second half of the race. He was quickly followed by both Gjerdalen and Nergård. Their teammate, the 45-year-old legend of the sport Anders Aukland, was able to catch up the three of them, but Gjerdalen made his decisive move before the final descent to Lillehammer. Only Nergård was able to follow him, and in the end, he was the stronger to beat his teammate in the final sprint, and amazingly add the Birken to his Vasaloppet victory.
The outside, now he's going to make his push here. Andreas Nergård going for back-to-back victories with Tordas Gjerdalen. It's a sprint to the finish here in the Olympic Stadium in Lillehammer, and Nergård predictably the sprinter without parallel. He's going to romp his way through to make it back-to-back Visma Ski Classic stage victories. He's absolutely powered through. Andreas Nergård wins the 80th Birkebeiner ahead of his teammate Tordas Gjerdalen.
I knew I just had to try to get towards skis and try to follow him to the finish line and then just push really hard. So Tord was really strong today, and I'm really satisfied that I managed to keep up with him.
In the climb competition, Morten Eder Pedersen held on to the lead despite losing some points to his closest challenger Vokowev here, while Johansson Norgren stayed out in front in the women's category. But with 2 races remaining, the pro team competition remained extremely tight as Team Santander opened up a 60-point lead over the Lager 157 ski team after the Birken. penultimate stop of Season 8 saw the skiers move up above the Arctic Circle to northern Norway and the Reistadloppet. The 50-kilometre track from Setermoen to Bardufoss is widely considered to be the toughest course profile in the whole season, with 2 extremely harsh climbs. The difficulty of the terrain was illustrated by the decision of the vast majority of elite skiers to use kickwax rather than double pole the course, as is usually the case now in Visma Ski Classics races. In the women's event, the long climb up to Orta proved to be the key, as 3 skiers moved away from the pack. Team Koteng's pair of Masako Ishida and Astrid Orest-Lind, along with Team Trentino Robinson trainers Justina Kowalczyk. Slind struggled in the second uphill and was cut adrift as Kowalczyk and Ishida went on to contest the race victory. They approached the stadium area neck and neck, with Ishida the stronger in the end this time, as she sealed her second career Visma Ski Classics stage success.
Here is our winner.
Great.
Looking nice, enjoying, taking her moment. She is the winner, Masako Ishida.
In the men's race, a large group went past the first sprint point right before the long uphill. Gjerdalen and Chris Jespersen of Team Koteng broke away in the climb with several others. The second ascent to the top of the mountain was then the decisive one, as Jespersen struggled with his aggressive kickwax and Gjerdalen skied away from him. Anders Aukland finished in third spot to clinch his third straight podium place of the season.
Podium, Anders Aukland.
Fantastic.
Yeah, thank you. It was a great race. The Orta Hill, that's a tough one. That's a really tough one. I had plans on double poling today, but I changed my mind 10 minutes before start, and I'm really happy about that now.
The Visma Ski Classics final once again took place in Ylläslevy in Lappish, Finland in the middle of April. It was another tough course, at 70 kilometres, the joint second longest track in the season, with 3 major climbs, and held in beautiful sunny conditions. Event ambassador and Olympic gold medalist Ivo Niskanen took part, looking to challenge the Visma Ski Classics long-distance stars for the race victory. In the women's event, 5 skiers broke away in the first long climb up to Yllästunturi. and stayed together until the last climb, where Ishida used her diagonal striding prowess to make an aggressive push. But her advantage was not decisive this time, as Øyreslund caught her with about 7 kilometers to go. The Norwegian then got stronger to go on and secure a memorable first ever Visma Ski Classics stage win.
And there we go, the happy winner. Good job, Astrid. Really indeed, amazing job. She is happy, she's truly happy, and she should be her first victory ever in Visma Ski Classics.
Oh, it's been a goal for me all the time to beat everybody on the set at the same time. Finally, I got to do it. I'm so satisfied today.
Oh, look at that.
Oh! Oops, there we go. Whoa, 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 whoa. Who is that? Whoa.
In the men's race, there were more than 20 skiers in the lead group through the first 2 sprints. There was an exciting fight between Pedersen and Jedalen for the climb competition points up to Kukkasjunteri, where Pedersen proved stronger to also seal victory in the overall climb bib for the season.
Look at that, dear friends.
Then, about 30 kilometres before the finish, 4 Team Santander athletes, followed by Tore Bjørseth Berdal of Team Kateng, broke away from the field. The Santander skiers worked together, and soon Berdal had to give in. Anders Aukland, Andreas Nergård, Toras Jedalen and Øyvind Moen Fjeld came to the finish line together, with Nergård the strongest in the sprint.
All of these guys followed by Øyvind Moen Fjeld, and look at that. Jedalen and Andreas Nergård neck and neck, and Santa Claus is ready. Who will it be? The final stretch, there they come. I can see them from my window. Will it be Jedalen or will it be Nergård? It will be Nergård. Nergård is faster as expected. The sprinting king is the king again, taking home the victory. And then followed by the Hertz Yellow Bib winner, the overall champion, Tor Asse Jedalen, of course, the legend himself. And this, Fjell was able to pass Anders Aukland.
It was really hard. I was super tired. Tord pushed really hard in the last uphill, and we all know he's strong as hell and in good shape now. So at the end I was really tired, but luckily Tord was a little bit tired at the end there as well. So I was lucky to get past him at the last 50 meters, but I was really tired.
Yeah, I knew my strengths, and also in the end of the race I knew Andreas would beat me in the finish line, so I had to attack in the hills. But you know, he's so strong, but it was perfect team.
It was really good to finish the season with a great race. This was also the last race for Team Santander. Next time we are another team.
Niskanen's Visma Ski Classics debut appearance saw the Finn finish in a highly creditable 5th place.
It was a tough race. My plan was follow Jedalen and Nergård, but maybe they noticed that my skis wasn't the best one on dry snow, fine snow in top of the hills, and that was my plan to take wet skis and go away at the end, but I could made it from a second group, but the 4 guys was going away, so no chance to fight for the win today.
So let's recap all the final results from Season 8 of Visma Ski Classics. Despite not winning any of the final 4 races, Britta Johansson Norgren once again proved herself to be the queen of the sport. The Swede successfully defended the coveted Hertz Yellow Champion bib, finishing over 200 points ahead of nearest challenger Katarina Smutner. Vasaloppet winner Lina Korsgren took 3rd place in the overall standings. Norgren also won the green sprint bib competition for the 2nd straight year, as she again finished comfortably ahead of Smutner, with Astrid Øre-Slind finishing in 3rd spot. In the brand new climb category, Norgren also triumphed, holding off late season surges from both Misako Ishida and Justina Kowalczyk. In the women's pink youth bib category for skiers aged 26 and under, Team Mempar's Evelina Bongman easily won the title, over 200 points ahead of her closest challengers. While in the Visma Nordic Trophy, Norgren could only manage 3rd place, as Slind's excellent late season form, culminating in that maiden stage victory at Ullerslevi, saw her win that competition. In the men's classifications, Tordashe Gjerdalen also defended the Hertz Yellow Champion bib, ahead of Team Santander teammate Andreas Neergaard. Gjerdalen finished 132 points ahead of his teammate, having held the bib for most of Season 8, a reward for his ultimate consistency. In the men's green sprint bib, Anton Carlsen of the Lager 157 ski team was a comfortable winner in the end, finishing almost 100 points ahead of his nearest challenger Oscar Kardin, with former sprint champion Neergaard in 3rd place. While in the new climb competition for the men, Team BM Bank's Morten Eder Pedersen emerged as the king of the hill. He finished only 5 points ahead of Gjerdalen in one of the closest competition categories in recent years. The men's pink youth bib was a close contest for the first half of the season, but ultimately Kardin's strong mid and late season efforts saw the Swede run out an easy winner over Russia's Emil Vokuev. And in the men's Visma Nordic Trophy, Neergaard was the winner after winning 3 of the 4 races, the Vasaloppet, the Birkebeiner-Rennet and of course Ullerslevi. Lastly, in the pro team competition, Team Santander held off the Lager 157 ski team in the end to win the coveted title for a 4th year in a row, despite trailing their Swedish challengers at the midway point of the season. So that just about wraps it up from Season 8 of Visma Ski Classics. It certainly was another season of thrills and spills in the snow around Central and Northern Europe. We do hope you enjoyed it. Join us again next winter for Season 9 as the best long-distance skiers in the world resume their rivalries. Until then, from myself, Guy McCree, and the whole team, it's goodbye.